Hello, it's 9 p.m. in Djibouti. It's time to English New Editions, and for tonight's headlines we have the signatures of agreement between Djiboutian and Tunisian businessmen. Concerning the Prime Minister's trip into Jura region, popular and official ceremony for the inauguration of the first primary school in Buya. For the international scene, Nobel Prizes for Peace awarded to conventional Dr. Denis Mukwege and Yazidia and Nadia Murad for the fight against sexual violence. Welcome to our newsrooms. The other flagship components of the President of the Republic's official visit to Tunisia with the economic forum between the two countries, which the Djibouti head of state co-directed by Tunisian Prime Minister Youssef Chahid. This event was a great place to exchange information on investment opportunities in both countries, especially for the business communities of Djibouti and Tunisia widely represent at this economic forum. The private economic operators of Djibouti who took part in this business forum under the aegis of the President Anglais and the Tunisian Prime Minister consists of the President of the International Chamber of Commerce of Djibouti, Youssouf Moussa Dawale, and about 20 businessmen from our country. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Nabil Mohammed Ahmed, and the Minister Delegate to the Minister of Economy and Finance in charge of Trade, Tourism and Formalization, Mr. Hassan Ahmed Arbahim, accompanied the President of the Republic as part of this official visit to Tunisia. In addition to the official Djibouti government, Djibouti private sector was widely represented with the 20 businessmen led by the President of the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Youssouf Moussa Dawale. He spoke on the cooperation between the private sector, Djiboutian and Tunisian. He indicated that actually Djibouti changed into the regional economic hub. In this is a great opportunity to invest in our country, he say. The Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed sponsored last Thursday's ceremony of inauguration of a primary school in Buya, organized by the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud. This event was attended by several members of government, including Mr. Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa Halem, Mr. Hamadou Mohammed Aramis, also the acting Ministers of Interior, Secretary of State for Social Affairs, Ms. Muna Usman Aden, and the High Command of the Italian Armed Forces who participate in the financing of the school. The local deputies, the local authorities, and the notables of the village had worked hand in hand with the menfolk to prepare this ceremony, which provoked a rare effervescence. As a sign of great satisfaction and thanks to the authorities, the local people were strongly mobilized in the small towns of Buya, located at the foot of Musa Ali Mountain. Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed and members of government were greeted with the folk dance and dances, jasmine necklaces. Then the officials were invited to dip their lips in camel milk according to the tradition, gathered in the big school yard under the flag poles of the national flag. The students, all dressed in school uniform, offered from free a charge. The national anthem is a cappella at the moment when the national colors rose higher of the sea. The Prime Minister and the member of government, as well as the Italian officers, lent themselves to an interminable walkabout with the inhabitants of the locality before unveiling the inauguration plate of the school under the crackings of the flashes and the objective is cameras and televisions. After having sacrificed the rituals, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed and the member of government present spoke for a long time before the local communities and those of the strongly present surrounded the opportunity to reaffirm the commitment and of the government to provide basic services to the entire populations of Djibouti. After schools, you will soon have a clinic and clean water, said the Prime Minister. The new school inauguration is last Thursday by the MENFOP under the leadership of the Prime Minister was basically a community school consisting of a single block of concrete with 2 classrooms. A new block made entirely of lightweight and recyclable material has been added thanks to funding from the Italian Army. The new school now has 5 classrooms and 4 teaching divisions, namely 2 first year's class and second and third year's classes. The Prime Minister and member of government visit the new classrooms. They had the opportunities to meet teachers and interact with the students in their free school uniform, as well as hundreds of textbooks, books and digital tablets. In the process, the Secretary of State for National Solidarity, Ms. Muna Osman Aden, donate tons of food to the local communities. The Prime Ministers and member of the government also announced the upcoming constructions of health center of the provision of an ambulance for emergency evacuations. Suffice to say that the inauguration ceremony of the schools of Buya was an opportunity to public authorities to bring good news to the local people, visibly touching and greatly rejoiced, and local communities present give to Italian ministers and military. At the foot of Musa Ali Mountains, on the borders with Ethiopia and Eritrea, the town of Buya stands on inhospitable land. The basic development structures were existing in this locality, located in a sandy desert of sand and streaming into the mountains of Musa Ali. Counterbases by the mobilizations of the local communities got the bearers of all the obstacles, and it is driven by a strong desire to build this school for their children, and the village's boss and his villagers innovate having us to get this school, a beautiful victory that should be called. The very active community leaders congratulate for all the efforts by the officials present, thanked the Ministers of Education, Mr. Mustafa Muhammad Mahmoud and his colleague, the government for the support of the concretizations of the schools of Buya, the Prime Minister, and for his displacement and constant concern for improve the basic development conditions of the isolated community like Buya. The inauguration ceremony of the new school Buya saw a strong mobilization of the population. Also, the main local authorities, including the prefect, Mr. Abdul Malik Muhammad Benoita, the president of the regional council, Mr. Omar Hussein, as well as the Colonel Ali Shehem Ali, who actively participate from the beginnings to the establishment of an educational structures in this locality. The constructions of the new school was concretized by the Italian military cooperation. The partisans for Italy, the former commanders of the Italian bases, welcomed the high-level political will displays for the inaugurations of the school of Buya. The Ministers of Decentralization, and Acting Minister of Interior, Mr. Hamadou Mohamed Aramissa, and the Secretary of State were joined by their education colleagues and the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed for the inaugurations of the first schools of education in Buya. All have promised to accompany the development of the schools, which is a first in this sector. Back to the conflict of the Ethiopian borders, the Minister of Decentralization Aramis asked the population to preserve the first of the basic development. The other development structures will follow already to improve access to water. A drill is already on site to start the work. The Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training intends to sustain the effort to carry out the first Buya schools. Minister Mustafa Muhammad Mahmoud remained that the education of a student is a duty for his department. Like the people in the capital, students in the area must have the same educational opportunity to aspire to a better future. He stressed that easy schools is a first step to initiate a dynamic of development. He also congratulated the local communities for his participation, including the notable leaders Ali Hassan. For his part, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Khan Mohammed said the inauguration ceremony of the first primary school, which was initiated by the local peoples and then by the support of the Minister of Education with the support of the Italian cooperation. First, the Prime Minister thanked the population for his strong mobilization to welcome his delegation. He solemnly indicated that the salvations for the development will be guaranteed with education, and today the Buya students have the opportunity to follow the educational curriculum like the other students of the Republic. This is not the first one have come to in the sectors, have already come as a member of the government in Margoita today. I am taking part in the momentous event for the educations of children. If schools is a reality today, it remains to materialize the provisions of a basic development structures such as health, access to water. On the spot soon, Buya will be fed with the water, said the Prime Minister, and will also put a sanitary structures. In Margoita, I found that children were sitting at pebbles to learn. This shows the thirst for learning and the willingness of parents for education. With the inaugurations of the first schools from Buya, a vacuum is filled. We are satisfied, as well as the parents. We will expand the educational structures to Adgenu and Dadatu. Our goal is to give the same opportunities to all children, even in remote area. Education is a right, and the President has given instructions to the government to make development structures available in all areas. Finally, the Prime Minister asked the population of Buya to take care of the security because it is a very important element for the development. The perpetrators carried out subversive actions to attack the interests of the population by burning portholes and ambulances. You have noticed that said that these perpetrators do not attack the soldiers who are not watching them. They are against the interests of the civilian population. On our side, we will secure the area. The military are there for this mission and ask you to support them. On October 4th, 2018, His Excellency Mr. Musa Mohammed Ahmed, Minister of Housing, Urbanism and Environment, received the new ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Djibouti, His Excellency Mr. Zhu Fucheng. From the outset, the ministers welcomed His Excellency Zhu Fucheng, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, newly accredited to our country, and did not fail to express his full success for his new mission in our country. Continuing his intervention, the Minister of Housing, Urban Planning and Environment recalled the excellent long-standing relations between the two countries and emphasized the support of China in the various structures projects of development. During their meeting, the Ministers of Housing, Urbanism and Environment and the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China discussed several common interests such as the protection of environment, climate change, housing and urban planning. For example, they agreed to collaborate further to find ways and means to strengthen their framework for cooperation on the environment and housing sectors. And we have also the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, Yunus Ali Gedi, received yesterday in his office a delegation of the Agency France Development, AFD. The discussion is focused on the pathology of the public buildings in terms of energy management. The ministers held the initiative of the French Development Agency, which consists of the remaining of the pathology of the old public buildings to better control the energy of these buildings. The minister also emphasized the awareness of the citizens and people who live in buildings to better manage energy management. The meeting was attended by the Director of the Egyptian Agency for Energy Management, Ms. Saida Omar Abdullahi. Under the patronage of the Embassy of the Guardians of the Two Holy Mosques in Djibouti, the Islamic Institute of Djibouti celebrate on the occasions of 88th National Party of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia a great historical day, an eternal occasion. The Director of the Institute, Sheikh Atiq bin Sulaiman Al-Hindi, emphasized it in the brief intervention to great importance of this occasion, which constitutes an opportunity by reviewing the progress achieved by the kingdoms under the directions of the guardian of the two holy sister mosques, the King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. In the grounds of the direction of the institute, organized a seminar on the National Day, which was on two main themes: the support of Saudi Arabia to Islam and soundness of the position of the kingdom and Vision 2030. The director of the Islamic Institute and his neighbor associate, the member of the professional body, and the students of the prestigious scientific buildings have attended this seminar. On the other hand, the Islamic Institute of Djibouti has organized a cultural evening under the guidance of the Embassy of Kingdom and in the presence of the particulars of the Lord of Businesses, the teacher Isaac Ibrahim, and the health of the Saudians appendice to Djibouti, as well as all employees of the institute and students of university sections of Islamic Institute. During this cultural evening, the directors of the Islamic Institute delivered a speech in which he emphasized that the National Party of the Kingdom was an opportunity to celebrate and recall the past of this country, its vision of the present, and consider its future. And we have in a little magazines in the capital. The places of relaxation are numerous, but the Djiboutians give the prefectures to the road of Venice, a nice places by the sea, and restaurant coffee offers a moment to guests who came to relax with their family and friend. The RTD team worked his camera along this busy road. Listen to this report.
A relaxation place is for all those who attended a moment of pleasure with family or friends. In Djibouti, many of them are in the capital and in particularly on the road to Venice. This relaxation area is particularly empty in the morning. Only a few Djiboutians who take their breakfast there while facing the sea are faithful to the area. It's 9 a.m. on the route to Venice, and on this weekend, day begins slowly for Ismail Moumin Meirane, an entrepreneur who comes here for breakfast. He is very delighted and explains the reason why he spends his time here, in which is according to him for the beautiful view of the sea. In recent years, the Venice Road catching up in terms of atmosphere, or open new restaurant, and each weekend, in addition to Djiboutian, the city sees tourists. Djiboutian on holidays tourists are our Yemeni neighbors who from Thursday evening to Saturday storm the spot connected to the site. As far as food is concerned, Moonlight, Oriental Hasna, Okailem, Hawaii, and Tropicana are the best tables on the Corniche. I am very happy to spend my time of relaxations here, and especially after school or holidays. On the other hand, they enjoy the weekend and have fun swimming with friends. From their youngest age, the children learn to swim and alone. The relaxation is on the menu. We are able to talk one of them. In the afternoon, a breathtaking view of the Board of Djibouti. The road to Venice is sweet and warm. It will be necessary to wait for 6 p.m. to see the first regular of the place. It's a nice and sad to see that marks the beginning of the animations. It's sometimes a family with children or a group of young people who this park. On the road, other young people play sports, especially walking. The best and most lively moments are to be seen inside the restaurant located there. The music beats, the different dishes are ordered without stopping, the customers savor an incomparable view. The atmosphere is at the rendezvous. Today, younger Djiboutians prefer to soft sitting facing the sea and remain accessible from a financial point of view. Thus, the moonlight, which is campaign, need decorations, good atmosphere and reasonable rates, has become one of the busiest restaurants in the capital. A little further, the Hasna Oriental restaurant lifted and enlarged in September. Very welcomed, pleasant atmosphere and refined cuisine ideal for family outings, friendly or engagement organizations. Every weekend, the Hasna Oriental hosts this road, which bears the name of the great Italian tourist city, has become a place of relaxation that Djiboutians, be they from the capital or from the interior, appreciated a lot.
Concerning international scene, Nobel Prizes for Peace awarded to the conventional doctors Denis Mukwege and Yazidia Nadia Murad for the fight against sexual violence. Listen to this report.
The Republic of Congo's Denis Mukwege has been named H1 winner of the 2018 Nobel Peace Prize. The man known as the rape surgeon was awarded along with Nadia Murad for their effort to end sexual violence as a weapon of war. The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2018 to Denis Mukwege and Nadia Murad for their efforts to end the use of sexual violence as a weapon of war and armed conflict. The organizer tweeted on Friday. He becomes the fourth African to win the prestigious award.
This is it for tonight's news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.